stop, and landing 13 left if that's available.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Palm Springs Tower, squawk 6250.
6250.
Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, Palm Springs altimeters 2985 radar contact, about 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31, you're requesting straight in for 13.
If that's available, please.
Remember, correction, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, make straight in runway 13 left and clear to land. Wind is 0905.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance plus 4658 is type PC tunnel slam call frequency clearance to Vegas S file.
This 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon. Unable to give you S file, and I'll be full route standby. Pilotus 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas airport via Flight Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs, Victor 370 to 29 Palms, Victor 538, Cresso, join the Cresso 3 arrival. Maintain 7,000. Check flight level 2405 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.7, squawk 6316.
Plus 4658 is cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Cresso 3. Initially climb 7,000, expect cruiser FG5, departure 167, squawk 6316 plus 465.
Plus 4658, read back is correct. Tango Mike, taxi to the ground via Echo and frequency.
Taxiing to the ramp via Echo, remaining on this frequency, Papa Hotel Tango India Mike.
Ontario Tower, Cessna 237 Charlie Alpha, approximately 4 miles to the west, inbound to land.
Number 237 Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left traffic, left downwind runway 26 left, report base.
Enter left downwind for 26 left, and report your base 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower, United 242, on the visual for 20 right, will be turning for a right base shortly.
United 242 John Wayne Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land, wind 170.3.
Clear to land, 20 right, United 242.
Here 520 Yankee Kilo Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land, wind 210 at 1. Number 237 Charlie Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land.
Left clear to land 7 Charlie Alpha.
Palm Springs ground plus 4658 east ramp with weather going for taxi.
Pilotus 4658, Palm Springs ground, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo and Bravo.
Trail right via Echo Bravo 465.
Riverside Tower, good morning, November 2903 Alpha with you on the ILS.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside Tower, good afternoon. Runway 9 clear low approach, report miss.
November 2903 Alpha, DX, low approach, runway 9, next week over to
Palm Springs Tower plus 4658 ready to go trail right at Bravo.
The radio area check.
Pilotus 4658, Palm Springs Tower, runway 31 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff trail right plus 465.
Here's our Yankee Kilo, Archer taxi into the ramp via Alpha. Pilotus 4658, contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure 465.
Cessna 7 Charlie Alpha is clear the active taxi to the GA parking base.
We're 7 Charlie Alpha, remain on this frequency, taxi into the south ramp via Sierra.
South ramp via Sierra with you, 7 Charlie Alpha, thanks.
November 2903 Alpha going around.
Number 03 Alpha, confirm going around or going missed?
November 2903 Alpha going missing.
Number 03 Alpha, roger, execute the published missed approach procedure.
Flying published mid-approach procedure, November 2903.
Piper 2903 Alpha, contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure, 03 Alpha.
Number 03 Alpha, departure frequency will be 135.0.
135.4 for departure, November 2903 Alpha.
Ontario Tower, November 516 Delta Mike, inbound ILS 26 left.
Or 516 Delta Mike, Ontario Tower. Good afternoon, Ontario. Wind is calm. Runway 26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land, 6 Delta Mike. Ontario Tower, November 36. Correction, 516 Delta Mike, clear the active uniform, taxiing to the south apron.
Number 6 Delta Mike, roger, taxi on the south ramp via Sierra. Remain on this frequency.
This here on this frequency 6 Delta.
Riverside Tower,
2903 Alpha, Riverside Tower, runway 27, clear to land.
Clear to land on runway 27, 03 Alpha. Riverside Route, November 2903 Alpha, in Alpha, request taxi to the transient parking.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside ground. In the future, don't switch to the ground frequency unless you're told to do so. You should stay with tower, exiting the runway all the way to the hold short point. Stay on this frequency for now, taxi into the ramp via Alpha.
Taxi to ramp via Alpha, webcam. November 2903 Alpha.
Runway clear. Runway clearance. November 6th. Charlie Mike Cherokee. I would like to attempt the I-4 rating today.
Cherokee 76 Charlie Mike Jolly clearance. Good evening. Good luck on the I-4 destination. Will be, let's go, Kilo Oscar X-ray Romeo.
That's Kilo Oscar X-ray Romeo. 620 Mike.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
I'm going to sign off and collect some information for this destination. I'll sign back in. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Just report when you're back with the I-4. And how long do you think it'll be? It's not going to be more than an hour, is it?
No. I have to file and get some charts and plates.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll still be here, so it shouldn't be a problem. And we'll look for your flight plan to come through. Which your plans are.
Las Vegas Tower Plus 465 usual 1 hour right 4500.
Plus 4658 Las Vegas Tower, runway 19 right, clear to land, wind 1807.
Clear to land 1 hour right 465.
Plus 658 exit right, taxi into the ramp via hotel, remain on this frequency today.
Exit right via hotel, right frequency 465.
Ground number 95 for Whiskey Alpha's Piper Comanche PH4/Alpha. Like taxi be active VFR east departure with weather.
Calling Long Beach Ground, need you to verify your call sign, please.
Sorry about that. 916 Whiskey Alpha. November 916 Whiskey Alpha.
Comanche 9016 Whiskey Alpha, Long Beach Ground, roger. And just confirm VFR eastbound.
Eastbound and repeat east ramp just south of runway 25.
Comanche 9016 Whiskey Alpha, roger, runway 26 right, taxi via Kilo.
Okay, 25 right via Kilo, 916 Whiskey Alpha. Long Beach Tower, November 916 Whiskey Alpha, holding short of 25 right Kilo, ready for departure via parking east.
We're 916 Whiskey Alpha, Long Beach Tower, runway 25 right, clear for takeoff, right downwind departure approved.
Clear for takeoff 25 right, right downwind departure 6 Whiskey Alpha. Good day, Palm Springs, ground scanning Hotel Tango. East ramp, India, close traffic, runway 31 right.
Papa Hotel Tango, do you mind? Palm Springs ground, say again aircraft type.
For a Cessna Skyhawk.
Skyline Tango, do you mind? Thank you, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo and Bravo.
Echo and Bravo, 31 right. Papa Hotel Tango.
We're center 791 Juliet, towards ground left.
Okay, Skype 791 Juliet. We see there's no clearance delivery with this field, so would we get our departure instructions with tower or with ground?
Always go with the lowest, so we'll start with ground. Just say your intentions.
Okay, Skype 791 Juliet. Type Cessna 172 on the south angles with the numbers requesting VFR advisories to jump in.
Number 791 Juliet, roger, departure frequency 134.9er, squawk 2061.
1249 is 2061.
Got 901 Juliet, read back is correct. Are you ready to taxi now?
In a couple of minutes, just got to go around to the side. It's Skype 791 Juliet, south angles 956.
Sky 791 Juliet, roger, runway 29 right. Taxi via hotel, correction, taxi via Alpha in Juliet.
29 right taxi by Alpha and Juliet, Skype 791 Juliet.
Palm Springs Tower.
Hey guys, happy Sunday. We are here to fly again, at this time with Mrs. Muraya. So what we're going to do today is some awesome flying. We're going to fly not the Cat 10. Also because I'm a bit late and I was already tinkering with the overlay because I like to get those subscription notifications going, and somehow the provider, the service that I was using before, was not actually working properly. So I needed to switch my entire overlay and stuff to another service, and that took some time. But that is all fixed now, and we just had a lovely dinner.
Yeah, we did.
And we are ready to go. So what we have planned for today is a very casual Sunday evening flight here locally in the Netherlands. At least we're going to fly in daytime from Santa Monica to Van Nuys. Perhaps we can already show. It's now in Palm Springs, but let's see, pad. Can you find Santa Monica on the chart? Because it's now on Palm Springs, but. And as always, Mireille is very, very curious to learn a bit more about flying. And she also likes the second in command seat here. Hey Steeler, good to see you. Scandinavian, good to see you as well. And Kimo, welcome guys on board. Good to see you as always. But Mireille also likes to be in the seat here next to me, not because she doesn't like flying, not at all. But she's now at a stage in which she is more curious also to learn a bit about the dimension of navigation and learn how to read charts and to have an idea of how the airspace works. So that's why she's enjoying this stuff as well. Yeah. But I can assure you, she will also jump into the cockpit here to fly very, very soon.
Meanwhile, I'm having major difficulty.
We can see. We're all watching the iPad. Shall I help you?
Yes.
First, can you find LAX?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, here's San Diego.
Yeah, and so there's one thing that you can look for, because as with San Diego here, these are the very big airports. Why? Because you can see these blue sectors,
right, yeah.
And those indicate Bravo airspace, and that's usually the big air, like Schiphol and like right. Yeah. So you know that LAX is also a big airport, right?
I know.
Right. Can you see where LAX is?
Yeah, that's easy.
It's a bit hard, because with the other airspaces, they are all circular, so you know where to look for. You can just look for the center, but a Bravo is not a circular shape, or at least
here's Santa
not
Monica.
this one. You find it? Yeah, that one. Zoom in so readers or the viewers can see. Yeah, that's Santa Monica. So that's it. That is actually where we are. Can you spot where we need to go to? Van Nuys Airport, a very lovely airport here.
Yeah, it was. It was really nearby. It was this one? No.
There.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just below, and that's the challenger bit, or that's the concern of today, is that you can see that the to what altitude does that airspace go to from Van Nuys? Thank you for following, Exterminator. And as you can see, guys, also new sounds here that are provided by the new server. So I guess that's something that we need to get used to. But again, thank you for following.
The Van Nuys
airspace, yeah.
Airspace, yeah.
Do you know from the surface up
from the surface to 3,000 feet?
Right. And what does the minus indicate? Just in
yeah,
front of
below. So
not
until
including.
2000.
Yeah, 2,999. Yeah. Absolutely. And why is that the case?
Because when it's 3,000 feet or higher, we are part of. Is it Burbank?
It's
No.
Burbank.
Yeah?
Very, very good. Yeah, so there's airspace just on top of the airspace, right? And that starts at 3,000, right? Now, there's one very nasty thing about the Burbank airspace that I've been trapped into so many times. Actually, this outer shelf, so with the 30 and the 48, actually extends all the way down here to the right, but the magenta line is hidden because it's below the Bravo here of LAX. There's also a section here.
Yeah.
So if you're flying from Santa Monica and you're zoomed in on the sectional, you might think, oh, I can just leave this airspace and just fly because you can only see the magenta over there. But actually, the magenta already starts over here and crosses over the Santa Monica airspace. So if we need to go to Van Nuys,
because it's this with the open arrows. That's
that's entirely different. No, those are different routes that you can take to transition the Bravo airspace here. So that you can completely ignore that. But this shelf here of the Charlie of Van Nuys just goes through all the way around here in a circle, and you can see it will pick itself up again here on the other side.
Oh yeah.
But it's very important that you notice because we're not intending to fly to Burbank, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go to Van Nuys. So we need to be very, very sure with this very short flight to Van Nuys that we're not going to fly above 3,000 feet while we're going to Van Nuys, because otherwise we're in the airspace of Burbank. And Burbank controllers might say, Mike, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So that's the most important thing here, that we do not climb through 3,000 feet. Or if we do, we need to contact Burbank to say, hey, here we are.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, that's the idea. Okay.
I'm amazed by how many information those cards contain.
Those charts, it's very detailed. But now we're also looking at the most condensed, dense part of the. If you zoom out, there are also other areas here that are completely deserted.
Yeah, okay,
right?
but still.
So, but I think that's actually what makes these charts so pretty. All of this information. There's so much information in there. Okay, so shall we track or create a line between our departure airport and the arrival airport? Jump in the cockpit, by the way.
Oh.
So that's the ruler.
Oh yeah, okay.
So that's 11 nautical miles at least. Yeah, that's what it was saying. You just tap the Santa Monica. Just go again. Try again. Yep, and there you can see it. KSMO. Good. So that's the first one. Good. So one runway, as you can see, just one extended center line, and then we pick Van Nuys. Boom. Great.
Yeah.
How many runways does Van Nuys have?
2.
2. Right. If you zoom in, you can see a little bit better. You can also look at the
black
sectional
line
here. You can also hear on the blue, right? You can see too. So there's a longer runway and there's a shorter one.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Okay.
Good. Now there's some cool features. Do you see FPL here on the top? If you press that, it's flight plan. ForeFlight is telling you already some calculations of what the flight is doing. Oh, there's one error I see. I don't know what that means. Cruise 1500 or lower, short routes. Interesting. So 3,000 feet, let's change that to 2,000 feet. Still it gives an error because we need to fly a bit lower. I don't know why that error actually is there. Usually ForeFlight here is standing here with the distance, 12 nautical miles. It also tells you how much gallons of fuel you need, but apparently in this case it is not mentioned here. I think it has to do with the error, but I don't know what's happening there. Not a big thing, but I was just curious or interested to let you.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can just step that away. Space. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So if we like to make that flight from Santa Monica to Van Nuys, what do you see? What things do you think that we need to be concerned with? We've already talked about that a bit just before we started, just after we started the stream. But what are the things that we need to look out for? I mean, we can fly pretty straight onward, I guess, just a straight line to Van Nuys. As you already noticed, there's a lot of airspace. Well, we already chatted about that a bit. Charlie, right, of Burbank, that we cannot fly through 3,000 feet.
Yeah, and we have the LAX.
Absolutely.
Nearby.
So it's a little bit south of Santa Monica, as you can see.
Yeah, here. The blue lines, right? That's.
Yeah, it's the blue lines. Can you see there's also a blue line here top? It's so condensed. So there's actually Bravo of LAX on top of Santa Monica Airport. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
So what is that section of the Bravo airspace? From what altitude to what altitude does that airspace, Bravo airspace, particular airspace, extend to? So these are all kinds of sections here, as you can see, of the Bravo, and they all indicate the same kind of altitudes.
Yeah.
You can see there's a chunk here just on top of our departure airport. So what else?
5,000 until 100,000?
Can you zoom a little bit in? Yeah, 5,000 to 10,000. So that means that we cannot climb through 5,000 feet. Or we need to contact LAX Tower and say we'd like to transition to Bravo randomly, which is not a good thing.
I can imagine LAX would not be too happy with
no.
Cessna entering their airspace.
No, exactly. So this
but that does make sense, because we already didn't want to go over the 3,000 feet. So
Correct. But you can see that that is the biggest concern of this very small flight, even though you go from a very nice small airport to the next, a Delta class airport to the,
yeah.
you still have some very serious airspace on top of you that we need to be very wary of, because we cannot just transition through that freely, right?
Yep.
So the challenge here with reading these charts is that you need to transpose a 2D chart because we have a top-down view, but actually to use the chart you need to have a 3D idea, right? So you need to have an idea of how high up the airspace goes.
Yeah.
So you need to underfly it and that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So should we also be worried about like the height of the surroundings?
The terrain.
The terrain?
Good one. Well, what do you see in terrain?
Well, this 27 here, was that the indication of the highest point in the
No. That's the airspace associated with the Santa Monica Airport. So from the surface up to 2,700, that's where the airspace of Santa Monica extends to.
Yeah, what was then the highest point? Was that this one?
Yeah, the 3.5
The
you can
3.5.
see over there.
Okay.
And what does that mean? That 3.5?
The highest point of that section of the map?
Right. And can you see the section? It's hard to see with all these lines, but do you have an idea?
Was this black line?
Yep. You can use the I always use the ruler so the viewers know what you're looking at. So this, see one here. Right? Can you see?
Yeah.
And it goes to the top. There. So somewhere in between this section, there is a point of 3,500, and I think that also includes obstacles.
Yeah, like a tower or a building, or that's what you mean.
Looking at Scandinavian here. Are you also noting down the expected time for each leg so that you know what your clock would have displayed when you arrive and you remember to start it? Yes, Scandinavian. But remind us before we take off to set that clock. I mean, I have Mireille here nearby, so she's more aware of using the clock, but still, there's a risk here.
It's risky. So, but I guess we don't have to worry too much because the altitude here is about 800?
Yeah, that's an obstacle. So yeah, these are I guess antennas or something like that going up to 820 feet. But those can be a bit serious if we are low flying there. So it's always good to have an idea of what obstacles you can expect. But if you look at our track from Santa Monica up north, so you should only follow that track here. There's not really a lot of terrain. Can see a highway that we can follow here, by the way. Highway 405.
Oh, yeah.
This one, as you can see.
Yeah.
So once we take off, we can spot that one, and that highway actually goes nicely all the way up to Van Nuys, as you can see. So we can use a visual
reference.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can do also some radio navigation.
Oh yeah.
If you like. If not, that's also.
No, we like that.
Can you spot a beacon that we can use? A VOR beacon that we can use to fly towards Van Nuys. It's hard to see because all of the circles, but you know what to look for. It's very, very obvious.
Isn't it this one?
Yeah, good. Van Nuys VOR with a distant measurement equipment, 113.1.
Yeah.
Good spot. So you can see also here the circle with the compass.
Oh yeah.
That usually indicates you should know that in the center of the circle, that's where the VOR is, and it's actually just on Van Nuys. The VOR is called Van Nuys.
Yeah. If we navigate to that frequency, what was it again? We have to set that frequency, or did we have to?
Yeah. We set the frequency, and then this navigation instrument is gonna guide us in. But I will show you. So that might be fun too. And it's usually also very highly recommended to use the two things at the same time. So radio navigation plus visual reference, because so you have backup.
And the clock.
And the clock. Good one. You see, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So shall I look how I guess we would need to take off?
Very good.
Yeah?
Yep. So with the taxi, you mean?
Yeah. So first we look at the meter.
Good. So what is the weather telling us? Can you?
It's the wind. Well, it's VFR, so that's good.
Why is it VFR?
Because the visibility is how is it called? 10
Nautical miles.
SM.
Oh, the statute miles. Yeah, or just miles. Doesn't.
10 miles, and it should be
Well, it's good that you know.
4.
More than 3.
More than 3.
But that's already borderline. I
Yeah.
mean, you would call that marginal VMC from 3 to 5, and above 5, then it's strictly
really-
completely VMC.
Yeah.
Very good. There's another thing. There's always two things.
The wind?
Visibility, not the
Um,
winds. Although very, very strong winds could also keep you grounded, but
Well, the
visibility
clouds.
and clouds.
Yeah,
right,
but
cloud
it's
ceilings.
sky's clear, so.
And exactly. So you know already by looking at the weather information here that we got VMC, but there's also one very obvious indication
Yeah,
here
the
on the ForeFlight. It's
green,
green and it says VFR there.
Yeah.
On, yeah.
That
But
gives
good.
it away.
But it's good that you remembered. I didn't know that
Yeah.
you already remembered that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Scandinavian because it says VFR.
Yeah.
Good point. So the wind is coming from 210 degrees.
Good. So if you look at the compass here,
Yeah.
where is the wind coming from now? When we're pointing here, so if we put our finger outside of the window, out of the cockpit, where is the wind coming from?
There.
It's coming from there,
There.
and it is going that way, or is it going
Yeah, it's
that
coming,
way? It's so this direction.
Yeah.
Correct. Very good. Very good.
And then we need to find a runway that is close to 21.
Yeah. If you have a free
Yeah.
world, because eventually
Yeah.
still the tower controllers.
Yeah, sure, sure,
And
sure.
and those guys will
Yeah.
take into account the wind direction to assign us a runway. So we can use the wind direction absolutely
Yeah.
to expect or plan what kind of runway we might.
You might be, yeah, but it's good for me to understand what's
Absolutely.
might be
Yeah,
happening.
sure, absolutely.
So there's a runway that's called 21. So I guess that's the one we will be assigned to. But
Good.
we are never sure.
We are located, by the way, I think on the top there. Here.
Okay, so
We
we
just
need
can
to
circle
do,
that with a pen so the viewers know as well.
here.
Yep.
And
that's
we
where
need to
are.
probably need to go like that.
Yeah, so what kind of a taxiway instruction would we receive, you guess, looking at the taxi diagram or the airport diagram? Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
Scandinavian. It's called a heading indicator. You're right.
The Bravo?
Yeah, bravo. Bravo 221. Very, very simple. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Do you know what that HS
No.
is? It's called a hotspot. And those are areas, indicated areas of the, and there's also one here, you can see,
Yeah.
where you should be much more aware because oftentimes accidents happen on the taxiway
Ah.
there. So it's kind of like a heads up, like be sure that when you taxi from there to there, it's not a big thing, but it's just interesting. But
Yeah, so we need to be careful there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good, so 2-1, very
Okay.
basic.
Yeah.
But then looking at the sectional, so going back to the sectional, what direction then do we depart from? So 2-1.
We go like this.
Yeah, it's always the same
to
kind of
the
look.
sea.
To the sea, and we don't need to go to the sea, right?
Yeah, so we need to turn.
Around.
Yeah.
Right. What direction do you expect us to do? Do we make a right turn or a left turn after takeoff to go to Van Nuys?
I would say a right turn.
Absolutely, because otherwise we'll fly into LAX,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we also need to go that base a little bit more.
Yeah, but can we decide it for ourselves?
No, not entirely. We can expect that. What we're going to do is request with tower. We'd like to have a northbound departure. So just a general idea. We'd like to go to the north, and then the tower might say, "Well, you're clear to do a left-hand departure, or a right-hand departure, or a right downwind, or a left downwind, or a right crosswind, or a left crosswind."
There was also something in flight following that said whether you can do those. Or was that the name of the airport? That said something about the left turning, right turning.
Oh yeah, there's one thing that you can look for on the sectional. So if you look at Santa Monica here, Santa Monica, right? So this is
Yeah.
it's a little bit farther away from the airport. And if you look at RP,
Right pattern.
right pattern. So for runway
Yeah.
3, right? So if we take runway 3, we've got a right pattern.
That's a bit weird.
Good. Why is that
Right?
weird?
Because then we're going in this direction.
Yep.
we need to make a right turn, and then we're going towards.
Close. Yeah, but that's true. It's so for
Okay.
runway 3 on Santa Monica, we got a right-hand pattern, and for then automatically because runway 21 is not mentioned here. Runway 21 is not mentioned
Yeah.
here. Only right patterns because default is left. We know that 21
Yeah.
is to the left,
Okay.
which you would not expect because you know that
Yeah.
Los Angeles is to the south. So it's always good to check.
Yeah.
But still, Tower can say, well, we'll just ignore
Yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah. So do we need to take something into account in case we need to go to the
Very
left?
good question. What do you think? If we make a, with the traffic patterns, right? We've got, first we're going to take off. Then we make a left crosswind and then a left downwind, right? That circuit, that rectangular kind of shape.
Yeah.
How far would you think that would extend from the airport? So if we would take off like this, so this is then, so whoop, and we're going to make that turn to the left. How far do we go to the south before we make that
Not that far.
right? I think almost like this.
Yeah. So we
Usually it's a mile or so from the airport. Well, this is already, no, is that 7 miles? No, it's 0.7 nautical miles. Yeah, so something like that. So I guess, can I see
a little bit further.
a little bit further? This is kind of like
Yeah.
a mile. Yeah,
Yeah, so we don't need to worry about making the
Good.
left.
good.
turn.
As long, but that's also included in the traffic pattern, as we do not reach 5,000 feet
Yeah,
because Bravo
still,
is on top
yeah,
of us, but
yeah.
that's insane, obviously. Yeah.
Okay. So then we're flying to the beacon.
The beacon code. So as soon as we depart, we're going to fly right towards that VOR. Absolutely. And there's another,
Yeah.
right? A visual reference point that we can use. Did
Yeah,
you know?
the highway.
The highway.
The
right.
highway. Yeah, and
Do-
then
Are there also some other visual reference points that we can use along our way to double check that we're going to the right direction? What other significant reference points, visual marks, would you also
well, there are some lakes.
expect to see? Right. Which ones? Zoom in.
This one,
Yep, that's one to the right. Good.
and then there's one to the left. So we should go
Good.
in between
Very
those.
good, very good. And also the city, right? The yellow,
Yeah.
the yellowish. There's also that 101 highway that's gonna go perpendicular to our direction, right? So this one.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And then we know that we're already very, very close to
Yep.
Van Nuys.
The golf
No.
course.
The golf course. Well, yeah,
I'm not
those are.
sure if we can see that.
Well, we might. It's just a photo
Mhm.
real scenery here. So at what distance from Van Nuys do we need to contact Van Nuys to say, hey, here we are?
10.
Good. 10 nautical miles. So, yeah, good. Use the ruler to see on what time during our en route lag, which is very, very short in this case, we need to already contact tower.
Oh, almost immediately. Well, our flight is 12 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So after 2 miles,
Right.
that would be here.
Right.
After 1 minute. So after ascending.
Almost after we make our first turn away
Yeah.
from Senegal, we should already contact. So that is something that we need to be very wary of as well. That is soon, but and you know, when we contact tower, we need to have some information first before we do, right? Before we contact tower and say, hey, we like to land, we also need to
Yeah.
include some additional information with our first initial call. Weather information.
Yeah.
So even before that time,
Yeah, so we immediately listen to the
ATIS,
weather.
absolutely,
Yeah.
so that we are prepared. So
Yeah.
actually a short flight like this, you might say, oh, it's just a short flight, so it's also very simple. That's not the case. Short
Yeah.
flights can be very challenging, which is fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's good to rehearse this mentally, and yeah.
Yeah. And
So
we
I
can
would
already,
suggest that before we take off, we already listen to the ATIS.
Yeah, and we can already prepare what runway we are likely to land.
Go ahead. What runway would you expect us to get?
Let me see. The weather is also VFR on Van Nuys.
Good. What are the winds doing?
110 degrees.
Okay. And how strong are they? Because usually when the winds are calm,
3 knots.
3 knots. So that's those are a very winds calm condition. So that's
Sky clear.
perfect. Very good. Will we get the small runway or the bigger one?
Well, these are 2 runways.
Yeah.
And you can enter them from both sides.
If you like, yeah. Or if you get assigned that runway to land, yeah.
I don't know. How can I know?
Well, me neither. I don't know. But I would
Okay.
expect the smaller one because we're a small aircraft.
Yeah, me too.
So that's the one that I would expect, even though I know on PilotEdge usually we get assigned the bigger one. But it's an interesting question
Yeah.
because if there are multiple runways, obviously, it's interesting to know which one. I guess with the perhaps with the there are some supplemental documents for each airport, and perhaps those in the remarks they might say, well, this is the default runway, which we could look up, which might be interesting. Can we do that? Have a look. Those are the frequencies on the right top corner, right?
Yeah, I thought that maybe here because they say helicopters, but that's not.
No, that's not it.
That's
not
the
it.
platform. Okay.
Yeah.
So where can we?
So if you go to the airports,
documents?
no. Santa Monica's already there, and this you can see all the tabs here: frequencies, weather, runways, and there's A/FD. That means airport facility directory. You can see here Santa Monica on top, and airport remarks.
But
there's a lot of information. What do you mean?
But this was not Santa Monica. We want to know Van Nuys.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm sleeping. Good. So you can go to the top, and K, V, and Y. No, Scandinavian, not yet, not yet.
Okay, so you said AFD.
Yep. And you can see here there is a huge paragraph here with airport remarks. And usually you're looking for a winds calm runway or something that might indicate. There's also a lot of junk information in there that doesn't concern us, particular taxiways that are closed or taxiways that can only be used by bigger airplanes or noise abatement kind of stuff. So let's see if we can find anything here. Also interesting here, traffic pattern altitude, TPA. That's for runway 16 right and 34 left. So that's the bigger runway. That is at 2002. On the top you say pattern altitude is 1800 feet. And that's for 16 left. So that's interesting. So again, this is a case where it's important to read the airport remarks. So it's also good when we're going to enter Van Nuys that we need to know what the traffic pattern altitude is, right? The altitude that we need to fly the circuit before we can land.
Yeah.
So if you fly the downwind and the base, it's at St. Louis that was 1,100 feet or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And each airport has its own. You can see here pattern altitude is 1,800 feet, which is also something that we should remember. But here on the airport remarks, again, these are supplemental documents. There is supplemental information, and they tell you a lot of more specific information. As you can see, that traffic pattern altitude only applies, it's 1,802, to runway 16 left or right. See here, small simple diagram. 16 left is the small runway.
Okay.
So the bigger runway is 16 right. So there are two different traffic pattern altitudes. So we should remember those when we're gonna enter Van Nuys. But
there's too much information.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. That's very true. That's very true.
But do we know?
Yeah, that was the trick, right? Let me see. No turn. No, I cannot find any. So I don't know. We're gonna see. Perhaps we're gonna get 16 left, or perhaps you're gonna get 16 right. But it's important that we know that those traffic pattern altitudes differ. So perhaps when we're gonna enter that pattern, we need to know again for sure what the traffic pattern is.
And also that we are most likely to need to land the other way.
So once that's the 1.6. Yeah, you
The
can see
1.6,
here.
yeah.
Here on top.
Yeah.
6 is on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
And then we have briefed everything, but it's a lot, right? Even for
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But it's a good
But it's
rehearsal.
good.
Okay.
Good rehearsal.
Shall we start?
Yep.
Good.
Get
going.
Do we do the checklist?
Yeah, sure. We can use yours, your simplified checklist if you like.
Yeah.
Let me first connect here. Also, by the
Um,
way, just before you start, guys, we are currently at a newer version of Santa Monica. Kimo just posted it in the Discord of UncertifiedPilot, posted on the Aerosim Gaming website by Rush, and this is already that scenery. So we've got an updated airport here, which is nice. All right, go ahead.
We already did the cold
Go.
part, right?
No, we didn't. We didn't. So could you repeat that one?
Okay.
Steeler, thanks.
Thank you.
€5. Thank you so much.
Scandinavian, are you happy to find out the donating sound? They were so curious that they, well, you wanted help finding out what the sound was. So. Okay, the cold part. Okay.
Go ahead.
PilotEdge connect.
Yeah, we are connected.
Okay. TrackIR center.
Yep.
Switches reset.
Switches are reset.
Lights on.
Lights. No, that's with the asterisk, right? Isn't it?
Only the nav.
Only the nav. That's
Beacon.
yeah. Only the beacon should be on. Yeah. So with the asterisk before the air, that means that one only should be on at night.
Parking brake set.
Parking brakes are set.
Yoke calibrated.
Well, I don't think so actually. I can see it's a little bit off, so I'm gonna do that right now. Joystick calibrate. Yeah, a bit off. I don't know why that is happening. Ignore these ones because we got bill for that one. Blah 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 blah. Done.
Oh, and it also worked with the what is it called?
The jar.
Yeah, the jar.
Yeah, the jar is now integrated. Yeah, so this new service that I'm using, Streamlabs, is a much better service. So all the notifications now are combined, and we've got a new follower, a new subscriber, a new donation. Everything is translated into a coin or some kind of token that is then dropped into the jar. It's just fun. But I really like that service. So yeah, we're going to upgrade it, stream overlay. And also new sounds because that sound package is entirely different.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, go ahead.
Throttle. Aft.
Throttle, aft.
Mixture aft.
Mixture is aft.
Trim activate reset.
Trim is activate reset. Good.
Seatbelt fasten.
Seatbelt fasten. Very, very important. Yeah, we should also almost create seatbelts for the other chair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Charts access. Do. Flight brief.
Flight brief. So we already did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
Okay. The pre-start.
Pre-start.
Batteries on.
Batteries on.
Flight controls correct.
Flight controls correct. To write that one down. Up. Well, and my rudders are working too. Good. Yep. Check.
Avionics on.
Avionics on. Following. Thanks, Mal. Thank you for following.
Flaps test. Sorry.
Flaps test. Flaps down. Down. And that one goes down. Good. And back up again. Looks good.
Okay. Avionics all display.
They are all displayed. Yep. Work.
Enunciator panel test.
Yeah, this enunciate. So those are all the warnings. So we need to make sure that those lights are working. Yep, those are working.
Altimeter set altitude.
Altitude. So what's the altitude of the current airport of Santa Monica? Do you know? Get up. So we're able to find it. There are lots of places. Yeah, you can see it. It's a box there, where you draw lines.
Oh, yeah. 1,700.
100.
100.
Yeah, it's just the plain altitude. So 100. Thing like this. So 0, 100.
Yeah.
And 50 and a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I'm saying that right? No.
7.
Yeah, no. Did say that right. Yeah. I'm kind of confused.
Okay. Fuel quantity, check.
Fuel quantity. Yeah, we've got enough. We've got 15 gallons in each tank, and somehow ForeFlight is not calculating that for us, so I don't know what's going on there, but this is plenty.
Avionics off.
Avionics off.
Battery off.
Battery off.
And that's it.
That's it. Good.
Okay, start.
Go ahead.
Parking brake on.
Parking brake. Again. It's released. It's now on. Good.
Battery on.
Battery on.
Fuel pump on.
Fuel pump on.
Mixture in 4 seconds.
1,
then aft.
2, 3, 4, and aft.
Fuel pump off.
Fuel pump off.
Throttle a bit in.
A bit in. And starting.
It says magnetos to start, mixture to full in.
Yeah, so let's start. Full in.
Okay.
And then back to both.
And then throttle set 1000 RPM.
1000 RPM.
Mixture lean.
Mixture lean, so a tiny bit because we're on ground.
Enunciated panel clear.
Enunciated panel is clear.
Okay. Pre-taxi.
Pre-taxi.
Avionics on.
Avionics on.
Transponder 1200 ALT.
Yeah, and then ALT, that's mode C, so we're transmitting our altitude as well. Yep.
Navigation radio set.
Navigation radio set.
Ah.
Ah.
Yeah.
There we go. Mrs. Uncertified
That's my
Pilot.
job.
That's your job, if you like.
Yeah.
Right, so there's the sectional. We're gonna fly towards the Van Nuys VOR.
And it's 113.1.
30.1.
Which is that one?
Hey, Killer, good to see you on the stream.
113. Hey.
On 2. Just one notch a little bit further.
13 point. 1.
Good. Switch. Yeah, we got a reading. Already a 2 reading.
Already.
Good.
So that's the
Nav 1.
only navigation that we need to set?
I think so. Do we need another beacon or another thing that to fly that we rehearsed?
No.
I think not. No. So this is perfect.
Okay, communication radio set.
All right, communication.
That's also me.
Yep. Go ahead.
Oh.
So what's the first frequency on Santa Monica that we should contact?
Yeah, I need.
Hey Keller, this is ForeFlight. The ForeFlight app is actually an app that has been used quite actively by the actual aviation community.
So first I'm doing ATIS.
First ATIS, good, on the COM2, right? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Stefan, hi, how do I make a donation towards the first flight? Oh, awesome. Well, you can do that, Stefan. Oh, that's very, very kind. You can look on the on our Twitch channel page, so the page that you're on right now. There are different information boxes there with yellow banners, and I guess one of the first is about donations. And there's a link in caps lock saying donate here. You can hit that link. That will bring you to a page where you can donate any amount. That's very, very much appreciated. For her to take her first introductory flight lesson. Already saved up quite some money by so many of you who are so kind to encourage and support her. Yeah, thanks, Kimo, for sharing that link.
Sorry, I'm struggling with the
Sure, no, take your time. Take your time.
2 more.
That was ground. Yep. And then
John Wayne Tower, I'm right base for 20 right.
Oh, it was quite on this.
Yeah. So that's
John
a
Wayne
good
Tower,
sign.
6 Manor Tango Charlie. Right
I would
base
just,
for runway
hit that
20
one
right.
off.
Damn it. Not focused.
Well, that's what happens to me when I'm flying after dinner. You You just get relaxed and you get
Yeah,
cozy.
those are excuses for not setting the clock. No, but I see your point. Let me see. Okay, this is ground. This is tower. This is the correct order.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need. Once we had an airport that also had another frequency.
Good. No, this
We
is
don't
a
have
small.
that.
No, this is a Delta class, a blue kind of airport, bluish, and so we don't need any additional frequencies. So this is rather simple: a ground frequency, a tower frequency. But as soon as we take off, as soon as we take off, and tower says goodbye, we're gonna ask for the tower on Santa Monica to already switch frequencies.
Yeah.
So we can immediately switch to the tower of Van Nuys.
So. This is the weather information.
Oh, Scandinavian, you're right. I didn't update the Moobot link. That's a good one. No, Kimo, if you can get into Moobot and fix that link as well over there. Otherwise, I will do it after the stream. I totally forgot about that.
Hey, we have two tower.
Two towers, good one. What tower frequency do we need for Van Nuys?
Yeah, we don't know that.
Because it depends on the runway.
Yeah.
Yep. So usually when we are on flight following, the so-called approach controller would already tell us what frequency we need to sign into.
Okay.
So we don't know. Let's just pick one. Because we need to contact tower anyway. And those guys are in the same building. So if we're in the wrong frequency, they say, well, please go to another frequency.
Yeah.
So I would guess we need 16 right. That's the bigger runway.
Yeah.
So that's 119.3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do we need to write the
Well, yeah, sure. You could just take a notepad over there in the first draw there, if you like, or you can just use it here, whatever
oh, yeah,
you like.
I want this one.
That's the tower frequency. Good, and then we also need a ground frequency.
Oh yeah, yeah, we can. Yeah. And ground is 121.
Yeah, Kimo, that's correct. Switched over to Streamlabs right now, and that's the current one. Yeah.
That's a T.
That's the ground. As long as you know.
Okay, I know.
Good.
Okay, so
very good.
I think we're set. So
and also the ATIS in the COM2, right?
So this is ATIS
Of
that,
Santa
the first
Monica.
one. This is of Van Nuys.
Good.
How do you say it?
Van Nuys. Yeah,
Van
Van
Nuys.
Nuys. It's a little bit weird.
This is the ground
Instant.
of Santa
in
Monica.
active. Yep.
And this is the tower. And we have made notes of the. Yes.
It's a bit complex, but it's good to rehearse this stuff.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow, thank you so much, Stefan.
I have improved my pattern by flying the lesson, still not as good as your girlfriend. That's nice.
No.
Thank you for the donation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Awesome.
That sound scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, it gets your attention,
Oh,
right?
man.
And it should grab our attention.
No,
Because
that's
it's,
true.
it's so
Yeah,
quiet.
it's so
Well,
nice.
perhaps I should reset the volume a bit after the stream.
No, it keeps us awake.
Keeps us awake. Good.
Okay, so we set the communication radios.
Yeah.
Audio panel ATIS, I already did that as well.
Good. Well, did we? That's not what I meant with that item.
Oh.
Because before we move on, we need now to listen to the ATIS
Oh,
of the current.
okay.
Of the current.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
let's
Oh,
have a
the
listen.
panel, yeah.
Before we do, by the way, yeah, get your scratch pad and see if you can write down what the weather information is and perhaps some other things that you notice and you listen to. Yes?
Yep.
I don't hear it. You can see on the com too. Did you set it right?
Whoa.
Thank you, Magic. Thanks.
Thanks.
Much appreciated, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, getting closer to that donation goal.
I think I needed this wake-up call to... No, I did it right.
Thanks, Kimo. Thank you. So the link should now be okay. Yeah, I can see.
119.15, I did that.
119.15.
And I set it on COM too.
Yeah, so that means that currently here on Santa Monica, there is not a active frequency on the ATIS.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bummer.
All the work.
All
the
the
sweat.
work, all the sweat. So, what weather information would you like us to have?
Zulu.
Zulu. Good. We've got Zulu. Okay. So we've got Zulu. Then.
Oh no! Wait.
Wait.
I want to hear the weather information of. You put it wrong?
127.55. Yep, but perhaps we're a bit too low. Could be the case because the mountains might interfere actually with the frequency. That's also simulated in X-Plane, but otherwise we do the same trick.
Yeah.
We just have Zulu along the way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we did the audio panel ATIS.
Good.
Audio panel COM1 active.
Good one. COM1 is now active.
Form cleared out of San Diego Bravo airspace. On departure flighting 310,
Go
maintain V for audible 2000.
Heading indicator
clockwise.
compass.
Yeah, so
Departure
we need to make
frequency
sure that the
11.6,
compass and the heading
squawk
indicator
1653.
are in sync. So that's also difficult because
Okay,
the compass has
Titan
an
237,
inverted kind
yeah.
of
Cleared
display.
out of the Bravo,
So
fly heading
just need to go in front of
310,
it. As you
remain
can see,
2000 until
30,
advised.
310.
And departure
that's kind of
119.6,
like
squawk 1653.
comparable. So something like this. Good.
Cessna 70 uniform refactor.
Heading bug. It's the next item, I guess, on the.
Yeah.
What do we need to set the heading bug for? What do you think? What's a useful heading to as a kind of an aid, memory aid?
The
Yeah, I would say as well. Well, what is the heading that we need?
the
Our
That's a good one.
our northbound departure. Right. So can you use the ruler?
Yeah. But why would we want to do that? Because we already have the
True.
the beacon.
True. So it's just an additional in case this thing doesn't work or
in
whatever.
case we don't set our clocks.
Exactly, which we still didn't talked about.
I would set it to about
Look at the mentioning of Scandinavian there. I only donate today if they reset the clock for each leg. Maybe that kind of motivation will.
Okay, what's a lag? I will make sure to keep an eye on
A
it.
leg is just one particular point from A to B on
Number
your
ground
en
type
route.
237
Okay.
Sierra Uniform VFR
So we've got
taxi
one leg.
information, Romeo.
So if we set the clock before takeoff
we're
and
at
actually
East
use that
7
time,
Sierra.
Yeah, because we can already set it.
Titan
But
237 uniform, jumping
I would say
300
300 and
7 taxi via Bravo.
yeah,
39 degrees.
27 via Bravo, 237 Sierra.
339. Yeah, that could be right. Okay, set.
Okay, so time-wise,
Time-wise, good.
this joyful ride will take 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Yeah, but that's from airport to airport. Is that a useful time indication? Because
I don't know how.
I mean, what we could also do is say, okay, we should. I mean, you can see here the delta, the airspace of Van Nuys starts around this lake. You can see here.
Yeah.
So we need to have contact with tower before we enter that airspace. So we could also say, well, from our departure, we need to contact tower before 4 minutes if we go 100 knots. That's also a time indication
it
that's
was
useful.
Earlier, because we need to contact 10 miles before.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, but that's just more like a practical kind of guideline.
Oh,
but
okay.
legally, we should at
Yeah.
the max. Before
no
we,
later
yeah,
than-
yeah,
yeah.
because this is the airspace where it starts. But you like to give the tower a heads up, because if you only contact the tower when we're on the edge here of this airspace, then that doesn't work.
So Scandinavian forgot that there weren't too many legs. Well, if all goes well, we are doing a second flight, right? And
Well,
we're
yeah,
switching,
if you're
but
still alert and lucid and ready to go, we can. It's just a Sunday. You can do whatever you like.
so after 4 minutes, approximately, we should.
That could be, yeah, that would be also a very interesting and useful time indication where we can use the clock for. So we can do that.
But what was the entire flight? What did I say? 10 minutes? 7?
I don't know by heart.
Beginning.
Off the top of my
Yeah, about 7 minutes, so that the entire flight will take a bit more because we need to do some.
correct. But that's not really a. You get it right? Why that's not really a very useful.
No, but
it's.
If we don't see the airport after 7 minutes.
We are already flying through the airspace, so we're already in trouble.
Yeah, okay.
So it's better than to say 4. If we don't spot the airport within 4 minutes, then we need to make a turnaround because otherwise we'll fly into that delta airspace of Van Nuys and we don't have any.
Okay. Okay.
So, good.
Set the heading bug. Taxi routes, we also did that. Okay.
We're set.
Good to go.
Seems to me as well. So, thank you for the follow, Extra. Thanks. Welcome on board. Okay, so that means that I can now do something, right?
You're welcome, Scandinavian.
Let me see. We are on the ramp. We're on the north east side. And we have information Zulu. At least that's what we pretend to do. And we like to have a... What kind of a departure? What direction? You're looking a little bit lost. Like, where, oh yeah, where we need to go to?
Northbound?
It's northbound. Because we also set the heading bug to that direction. So it's near to the north, right here. We need to go to the north.
Yeah.
That's the direction, the general direction that we need to go to. And then Tower's going to tell us how we need to depart and whatever, because he or she is the boss. Okay?
Yep.
Well, get the scratch pad near. Go here.
Yeah.
And let's see if you can follow me along. So I'm going to contact ground. And we'll have a listen. And let's see if you can write down with me.
It's so fast.
It's really fast, but it's good. It's nice to get used to.
Yeah.
Okay? Still, I don't hear anyone on the radio, so that's why I'm a little bit looking at the COM 1, but it's active. 121.9, that's good, right? On the COM 1, I think so. For ground, 121.9?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good. Alright. North east ramp with Zulu. Yeah. Yep. Santa Monica ground, good day. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango and Mike is on the northeast ramp with information Zulu for a northbound departure. Don't hear anyone.
PHTIM, Santa Monica ground, runway 21 taxiway Bravo.
21 via Bravo, Papa Hotel Tango Mike.
2-1.
Yeah, Bravo.
Number
Just
Tower Titan
like you
237,
expected,
Sierra
right?
Uniform rated
Oh yeah,
227.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
So, can you guide me to the runway? Just for fun's sakes.
That's the one I drew.
Good.
That one.
That one. Good. So, let's see. Release my parking brakes here. So, test my brakes first. That's working.
Air 2370 uniform,
So then,
Limburg Tower, wind 180,
to the right.
10, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff
Heading
27,
indicator, step
2370.
indicator, turn indicator, everything looks good.
This is the dangerous.
Yeah,
Wow, it's a bit further ahead.
it's a little bit further ahead. Also here, dangerous in terms of other airplanes here that we might hit. Where is the runway? So I'm following this taxiway line. Where do we need to go to? Airplanes, there's the tower,
Yeah, you
windsock.
need to follow it, right?
Follow this taxiway. Alright. Such a nice flying. It's good. And then? What do I need to do now?
I think this.
Just straight on?
Yeah.
Good.
Do we need to go right?
Like you can see here, runway 21. This is the threshold line. You can see the runway already here with the white lines here.
Yeah.
So we're already there. So it was really, really short, like you draw it on the taxi diagram. And sometimes it's hard, just to, even with such a short taxiway, to know what you're doing. So that's tower, right? So that means that we now got a standby frequency available. So what would you like to set that frequency to?
The tower of
Good.
9.
119.36. Was it 30 or 36?
3. That's a
36.
6.
That's a 6. Okay, good. Your own handwriting?
No, it's
Yeah, and
that's the T. That's the T.
Yeah.
I know you see that.
That's where you run in trouble.
It's 119. I should have wrote down 0. Yeah. Now it's set.
Okay. What do we need to do before we...
Contact set.
First, we need to listen to the ATC, right, of Venice, just to see whether we can still pick it up, because we need to have that weather information, right, before we contact Venice.
2370 uniform radar contact so good departure, see ya.
Still, we don't have a signal yet, so perhaps when we're flying. So what we could do is just keep the COM2 on. So as soon as we can, and it's set right. It's correctly set, right? It's now set to the ATC of Venice.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. 127.55. Okay, perfect. What are the before takeoff checks, my darling of darlings?
You already did the brakes test, the heading indicator, turning, departure.
That was for taxi, right?
Hello,
Yeah.
Limber
Yes,
Tower, Mexico 502, heavy with you on the localizer 27.
For takeoff, parking brake set.
Parking
Alright, let's go 502 heavy
Set.
lumber
And lights
tower.
on, strobe
When
landing.
it's 8010,
landing, strobe.
runway 27, clear to land.
That's it.
That's it?
27, clear line.
Good.
522
Well, I'd like to, for myself, just test my flight controls just one more time. Hey, Schmoken, good to see you on the stream. Okay, that's good as well. And we're already set to tower, right now on the COM 1? I can already check the tower? Okay, good. Northbound departure. We're going to catch that radial, and it's going to be a turn of something like this. Well, if you're going to get your scratch patch ready, we're now going to talk to tower, and let's see what tower is going to say. Is going to get a right turn or a left turn?
Yeah.
Yep. Santa Monica Tower, Sky Popper Del Tango anyway, because Sonic Short 21, northbound departure.
PHTIM, Santa Monica Tower, right cross on departure to the north breeze, runway 21, clear for takeoff, wind 2008.
Clear for takeoff, 21, and right crosswind departure for Papa Del Tango. That's fast.
Look at all my notes.
Oh, I didn't turn that on. Yeah, not a lot of notes.
No.
Yeah, it was really, really fast. I totally agree.
Did think that I hear something like right, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's what she said. She said clear for takeoff, runway 21, and then a right crosswind departure.
So that's good, right?
That's
Because
good.
we thought that we needed to go left.
Absolutely, absolutely. Make sure full in, everything is on. Oh, our fuel tanks are still. Yeah, that's not included in your simplified checklist. That's not your. It's mine. 2-1 makes sense, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's good. You can see a lot of slope there on the runway, which is so cool in X-Plane. Nice weather. Full power. Airspeed's alive. Engine is in the green. 40. 50. 60. And rotate. There we go. Nice. Look at this airport, guys. So this is the new scenery. Looks good. Alright, nose up. Let's trim a bit.
We have to set the clock.
Oh, we didn't set the clock. Set the clock. Yep. That's the brutal reality. Alright. I think usually, but I think that was Marcus, usually at Santa Monica tells you to go to the beach and then make your first turn. And I think that's also proper procedure. But we didn't get that instruction right now. So there we go, to the right. So what was our cruising altitudes? 2,000 feet was something like that, okay?
Yeah.
I think it was. As you can see,
Should not
there
be,
comes the
over
heading bug.
3,000.
Right. Now let me
Vegas
switch
Field
frequencies.
Tower, good morning, November 250
Alrighty.
Delta Romeo, 2,500 feet, 10 miles southwest from you. Correction, 10 miles southeast from you, full stop landing, information echo.
Nice weather here.
So why are you not completing your turn?
Because it's crosswind, and now I'm making that turn to the right. Crosswind is the rectangular, so you take off and then a 90-degree turn, right? Like with the traffic pattern. So now I'm flying towards the airport, and now I'm going to catch that radial. So it's now a little bit to the right of us. So I'm going to fly a little bit more to the right than our initial heading. and then slowly that needle should creep in. But let's ask for a frequency change. That's 2000. Santa Monica Tower, Sky Papa Delta, you might like to switch frequencies.
PHCAM frequency change approved.
Roger, Papa Delta. Yep, switch.
So was calling south, I believe, at Bakersfield.
Alright, well, we didn't hear any ATIS of Van Nuys.
Yes.
Have you got your scratch pad? Because we're going to chat with Van Nuys right now.
Some 10 miles southeast
we're
of
already
you,
taken off. We're already chatting with those.
Feet, requesting full stop landing with
as soon as we can.
Echo.
Just to be, it was already a few minutes, right, after.
You're 250 Delta Romeo, Bakersfield Tower, make sure the runway 30 report 3 mile final.
Runway 30 right, report 3 mile final, 0 Delta Romeo.
Limburg ground southwest 1103, holding short Bravo, Bravo 7.
Southwest 1103, Limburg ground, runway 27, taxiway Bravo.
27 view Bravo, southwest 1103.
Van Nuys Tower, Sky Papa Delta Tango Mike is about 10 miles south of the airport, currently at 2000 with information Zulu inbound for a full stop.
Say again for Robert. Mexico 502 heavy, please.
Mexico 502. Taxi at Terminal Bay Bravo, monitor ground 123.9er.
To the terminal via Bravo and ground on 123.
Here's the highway already. That highway that we need to follow, and there's a lake.
Oh yeah.
You can see the needle is now creeping in. Van Nuys Tower, Sky Papa Delta Tango and Mike is 10 miles south of the airport, currently at 2000 with information Zulu inbound for a full stop. Tower, let us know.
What do we do if they don't respond? We cannot enter the airspace.
4 minutes, right? At 4 minutes, we are, and we don't have contact. We're going to make a left turn because we did not have established our two-way communications. You can also see that here on the GPS. If we zoom in, you can see here's the Delta. There's Van Nuys.
Yeah.
So we still have some way to go, just to be sure.
Should I check the?
So what I'm going to do is just make a left turn here, even though there's some terrain. But we need to establish two-way communications before we enter that airspace. And the frequency is right. It's correct,
maybe
right?
It's the other one, because we're in doubt which one we need to use.
Oh, good, good one. So check. Could you switch to the other one? Nice scenery here. So nice hills.
Okay. Check.
Yep.
Yep.
Van Nuys Tower, Sky Papa Delta Tango Mike is 10 miles south, currently at 2200 with information Zulu inbound for a full stop.
PHTAM, Van Nuys Tower at right, downwind runway 16 right, report midfield.
Could you repeat that once more? 16 right, report midfield, but we don't know how to enter.
PHTAM, right downwind, runway 16 right, report midfield.
Right, downwind, 16 right, and report midfield, Papa Delta Mike, thanks. Okay. So, first off, the tower controller acknowledged us by saying our call sign. So that means that we are acknowledged, and so we're free to enter the airspace. And then she said 16 right. Did you hear?
Yeah.
And she said report right downwind.
Yeah.
The right downwind. Well, if you take the map, your own map here, you see Van Nuys.
Yeah.
You know how the downwind and base and that stuff works, right? So where do you think that we need
Here?
to? Yeah, right. So that's over. Use the ruler there.
Santa Barbara
Something
Harbor
like
clearance parent 482.
here, right? On that side.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Baron 4987 Santa Barbara clearance, go ahead.
Landing lights are still on. Strobe lights are still
Clearance
on.
Baron 872, we'd like to pick up our IFR clearance to El Monte Airport.
One bunch of flaps here. So, looking for that highway still, which is over here, going through. I guess we're overflying a lake that was on the left side. I cannot see it, but I think there's another lake over there, so it all makes sense. DME here on the VOR saying 6 miles to go. So that's good.
Clear on Monty Airport.
Thanks for the follow, Christian. Thanks and welcome on board.
Transition minutes filed.
A little bit
Columbia
slow
City
here.
718-3000 expect.
So somewhere in front of us, Van Nuys should be there.
It's already 7 minutes.
Departure
Yep.
frequency
Can you see?
120.55.
Yeah, good one. I think so
5152.
as well. Yep, it is. So you see the runway, can you see the other runway? Yeah, so this is clearly
Granite
Van
72,
Nuys,
clear
right?
El Monte
Yeah.
Airport,
So 6 right is going from that
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a right hand,
MSI
so
Z170A
right
Gaming
crosswind,
Expect
right
9000,
downwind,
10
right
Departure,
base, and then
return
final. So we need to fly
120.55,
this
51,
Yeah.
leg. Oh,
Fahrenheit
zoom out.
72, read back correct.
And for 16
Bakersfield
right,
Tower,
the
Oscar
traffic
Delta Romeo
pattern
now
altitude
reporting
was
2 miles on
2000
lump
if I remember
final.
correctly from the airport remarks, wasn't it?
30 Delta
I have
Romeo,
no
runway
idea.
30
Can you
right,
look
clear
it up
land
again? Do you know where to look
13008.
for in the airport
Clear
facility
to land
directory,
runway
that stuff?
30, Oscar Delta Mike.
Um,
So, correction, 0 Delta Romeo.
That's not documented. This is when you go here, very nice, and then you see all the tabs, and you can see a FD, so that's the airport.
Yeah.
You can see all this text here,
yeah.
and there was something with TPA over there, traffic pattern altitude. Well, what does it say?
2002, and then between brackets,
And for what runway was that?
16, 16
Limburg Tower,
16 right.
Southwest
Good.
1103,
So
holding short
2002 feet. That's actually the traffic pattern altitude. So we are already getting close to 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
2,000
Yeah.
feet. So we're almost in traffic pattern altitude. We're getting
Southwest
close to
5468,
downwind.
heavy read.
Perfect. Perfect.
Southwest 5468, low space, Metro 505.
Now we've not been flying 100 knots. We're flying a little bit slower.
Yeah,
so
so
that's
that's
why
Southwest
it takes a lot more
1103,
time for
Limburg
us to
Tower,
get there.
wind 180, runway 27, clear for
But it is a
takeoff.
good indication of when we
27 clear
should.
for takeoff,
It is.
Southwest 1103.
This is the highway 1 then?
Oh, that was the 101, wasn't it? 101 or yeah, that's this one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we just crossed that one. Yeah, that was the intersection that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Let's stick on 2000 here. A little bit more fuel or throttle, I mean.
So why is the beacon now not a straight line?
Because we set a particular radial, so the 3, if it still tells you something. So we set it to 3, 3 and a bit, so this I think 335. And we're not on that particular radial towards
Las
the
Vegas
VOR.
yeah.
So if I reset it on our current position,
pick up our instruments
if we
to
now
Burbank.
fly 3, 5 and a bit, 352,
Yeah.
then we would go straight to, that's the right turn, we would fly straight to Van Nuys. But that's still takes some experience to get used to a bit.
Southwest
Using, you
5468,
can see
Las
now,
Vegas,
now we need to make a
Vegas,
sharper
Burbank,
turn.
Buffalo
Thanks for the
Airport,
follow, Jay.
57 departure, wind
Thanks.
transition that is filed, climb via SID
Oh, that's the wrong one.
at Squawk 5754.
Okay, one notch of
I
flaps
cleared
set.
the
Mixture's
Burbank
full in, we're
7
fully
wing,
lit up.
filed SID 5754 in the
Airport is
box.
to the
for
right, we're a little bit
Southwest
too close.
5468.
So, or we can descend a
Those
bit quicker,
5468, stay again the Squawk
or
5754.
extend our downwind so we can fiddle around a bit on final, or we just can just go a little bit to the left here.
5468.
Create more room between us and the
5468, read
runway.
back correct.
Where are we going to park? Mrs. Uncertified. Are we going to park on that side, or over here, or over there,
With the other planes.
with the other planes? I see all kinds of jets over there, so that doesn't seem to be a good space for a
And above
Cessna
ground, ground
Skyhawk.
172,
This
South
seems to be
G8
more
parking,
like general
press taxi
aviation.
with
Oh,
all
some
yeah.
old airplanes over there.
Aha, we want to park there.
So let's park over there.
So we need to contact
Oh yeah, good one. Oh, already forgot. Van Nuys Tower, Sky Popper tilting mic is midfield 16 right.
PHTIM, Van Nuys Tower, thank you, and 1003, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 16 right, Popper tilting mic. Good one. I
Air
forgot about that.
4972, center proper ground,
Chatting
runway
with you.
25, taxi via
Okay.
Bravo Alpha Golf.
So when are we going to make the turn? Well, there's the runway just behind us, so
Runway
something
25,
like this.
Pacific Bravo Alpha, Fahrenheit 72.
There we go. Can you give me another notch of flaps?
Bakersfield ground 0 Delta
Thank
Romeo.
you.
Request taxi, please. I'm
Okay.
clear of the active to the
There's
air
the runway.
ambulance and ramp.
High speed. There we go. Another turn here.
Southwest 1103, contact
Keep
zone
that
code
runway
approaching.
in sight. Speed is good.
Still got a departure.
One red,
Southwest
one
1103.
white on the Pappy. And there we are. 16 right.
Surf 250 Delta Romeo, Bakersfield, ground.
We like to park
taxi
somewhere
via
over
Alpha.
there.
And
So
just FYI,
that taxiway
when
would be
here
nice.
it's
But didn't she
PE
say
is a little
something to us
different.
where we need to taxi?
Well,
Nope.
I'll say it this
Where
way,
did
it's
you hear
not
that?
always
Oh,
this
I don't
way
know.
in real
I didn't
world,
hear
but
it.
here
Usually the
PE,
tower
when you
controller
exit the
doesn't say
runway,
anything
stay
like
with
that.
the tower,
It's the
and
ground
they'll either
controller
taxi
usually that
parking
tells
on
you
their
how to
frequency
taxi
or
to
give you a hand off the ground.
parking.
Yeah, but in this case, we need to
Thank you, understood. I will stay with
already
the tower
make a
in
turn
future,
before
but
we
in the
can
meantime I will
contact
go via
ground.
taxiway Alpha. I'm grateful to you. Thank you very much.
No, but we
Zero
can
Delta
decide.
Romeo.
We can decide
Yeah.
still
Have
where
a
we
great
are going
afternoon.
to exit the runway.
Yeah, okay.
So the tower controller doesn't tell us where to leave the runway for a particular taxiway. So that's cool. So we can decide to exit here the runway to the left or to the right, whatever we like. Nice. Good. Are on the brakes a bit. That was a nice landing. Seems to be already a nice exit for us. So here we go. Off of the runway, which is taxiway. What is it?
Golf.
Golf. Good. Get our butt behind this threshold line. And there we are. Good. Now first we stay with tower to say, hey, we're off the runway, so they know that the tower can be used.
Stop the clock.
And stop the clock. Click. Van Nuys Tower, Sky Pop Hotel Tango Mike is clear. Runway 16 right at Golf taxi parking. Did you already set it to ground? Good. Good, good.
HTAM taxi to park via Alpha, remain this frequency today.
Via Alpha to parking and will remain on this frequency. Thanks for the help. Pop Hotel Tango Mike. Good. So in this case, the tower controller just said stick on this frequency and don't switch to ground. Alrighty, landing lights off, strobe lights off, mixture is set. Anything other on the checklist perhaps that we need to do? Oh, there's a nice yellow white line.
The throttle, did you do that?
Yep, I did.
Mixture lean, flaps,
Mixture lean,
verify up.
flaps. Yep, up. Alright, awesome. Good. Now let's see where we can park over here. Cute airplanes, and those are also very nice old airplanes over there. Look at those. Van Nuys is a special. There's actually a very nice documentary, guys, on Netflix. And I don't think it's on Netflix. It's called 16 right. It's about Van Nuys and also about aviation in general aviation, and how important aviation is and how fun flying is. Highly recommended documentary to watch. Okay, there we are. Slow taxi here, get our wings nicely parallel. Something like this. And brake.
Okay.
Very nice. Tell me.
Avionics off.
Avionics off.
Parking brake set.
Parking brakes are now set.
Mixture aft.
Mixture aft.
Magnetos off.
Magnetos off.
Batteries off.
Batteries off.
Lights off.
Lights are off.
Seatbelt release.
Seatbelts released.
And PilotEdge disconnect.
And PilotEdge disconnect.
Disconnected.
Good night.
Thank you, my darling of darlings. Good, we made it. Awesome. Okay, so let's have a quick look at our flight. Let me do this recording. Let's go outside a bit. Let's. That's already when we are on such a short flight. This was our flight over here. Whoop. And that was what we're up to. So as you can see, there is Santa Monica. There is LAX, as you can see in the far distance. Big airplanes.
Thank you, Steeler. I did an amazing job. I think Tim did all the work.
No. That's yeah, Colby, that's right. My girlfriend is getting into flying as well, so she's sitting next to me, and she can also fly as well. Traffic
I
pattern.
can.
You did your Cat 3 rating.
I have an
in
official certificate.
one day.
Yeah.
It's on stream. If you're interested, go to my YouTube channel and have a look. So Van Nuys, so that's where we were. We took off. We were instructed a right crosswind departure, so that's what we did. We took off to 300 feet below traffic pattern altitude, make a right turn to here. And then here I was already wary because we needed to change frequencies quite quickly. So we were ready for Van Nuys. So I requested a transition of frequency even though we were still in the Delta. And then we stayed below 3,000 feet. There's a lot of Bravo airspace on top of us here, of LAX. And also here a Charlie from Burbank. And Burbank is somewhere over there. That was on 3,000 feet. So we sneaked underneath. Well, we've got some terrain issues here that I think we weren't that aware of. Because we're very close here to the terrain, weren't we? I mean, you can look at these hills. I mean, at 2,000 feet, it's quite close.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see on the map where we could have spotted that elevation. Can you look for a indication on the map? So somewhere in between Van Nuys and Santa Monica, where we could have said, oh my gosh, there was actually terrain there, and flying at 2,000 feet wasn't a good cruising altitude. Thank you, guys. Yes, sorry, we're so busy with flying Scandinavian that I couldn't spot your questions there. But sometimes these flights take a little bit more attention than others.
What was your... Can we answer it now, or...?
Well, we can look back, but just first look at the section. Just see if you can see the airport. Nolas, thanks for following and welcome on board.
First, I need to do my homework. I don't see anything.
If you can look here. You can see
this
these.
one.
Yeah, 2,100. So that's already was an indication or could suggest to us that flying on 2,000 feet was a little bit too low. 2,500. I mean, we didn't run into any trouble, but still, we should have been a bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the only thing, I think.
Okay.
Okay, and then we went all the way. Let's see, where's our flight? There. Yeah, so then we didn't contact. It was weird why we didn't hear the tower controller. And you had a very great idea to change the tower frequency, right?
Yeah.
We were signed into the 16 right runway. You said, well, perhaps that one is not working. We need to switch to the other. Good thinking.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that solved the issue, but apparently we did run into contact.
It worked.
It worked, so that was very cool. Okay, a bit further on. Let's have a look here. Yeah, and there's Van Nuys, and so we were assigned the right downwind for runway 16.
Yes.
Right, and there we went. All the way down, down.
So, Scandinavian, can we still answer your questions? Or maybe Tim can answer them.
Yeah, let me see. Scandinavian, you're cheating with the GPS these days, Tim. Well, yeah, and it was also just for illustration purposes, just to show her where the Delta actually was. So that was why. Wouldn't it have been more appropriate to start the clock after the turn onto course? Absolutely. And already we should have set the clock before takeoff. I think that's the drill, to set the clock before you take off. But I don't know for sure. That's a good one. I don't know. Should look that one up. Random flight student question of the day. What obstruction is indicated by BR in a METAR? That's a nice question. That is fog. It's a very common indication in the METARs in the Southern California area. There's usually a lot of fog.
But what's BR?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily it's a sensible abbreviation for anything. I think it has to do with fog.
Okay. Any other questions?
Scandinavian is enough to remember the questions, or do we need to remember the answers as well? No, this is all about. This was already at the start of our flight.
But also something about wind corrections?
Wind directions?
Wind corrections. Something IFR.
Where's the question?
It's a bit down. This one.
Of course, on a short flight like this, I guess the timing isn't a very big deal, but for longer legs, shouldn't you make wind corrections when estimating the time, or is that more of an IFR thing? No, Scandinavian, that's true. But that's the advantage also of using ForeFlight, because ForeFlight is doing all that stuff for each leg. So that makes life a lot more easy, but I guess in the real world, obviously, you should do that by hand as well, also as part of your preparation for training and doing your check ride. And that's a very nice exercise as well. So yeah, but for this short flight, obviously, it doesn't make that much sense. Okay, let's look at the landing. I think I buttered this one. So nose up, nose up, nose up. Very slow, 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 slow. Nice.
It's a good landing.
That was nice. And slow-mo. Going down here. So nose is getting up, 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 up. Yeah, this is a nice level off here. I was a little bit turned, a little bit crabbed. Yeah, this is nice. And my right wheel was a little bit more down, I guess. No. Good. Perfect.
Nice.
That was nice. And there we are on Van Nuys. It's a nice airport. Very cute. Okay. Back to where we left off. Nice. Oh, this will be a nice ending picture. Nice. So, guys, a very nice intermezzo flight, I think, in between all those cat ratings that I'm doing. Next up is the Cat 10, which I'm really looking forward to, which I'm going to do tomorrow. A more VFR flight. And actually, it consists of two flights. A flight from Torrance to Van Nuys, and from Van Nuys back to... Was it John Wayne? I don't know by heart. So that's very interesting, and I'm looking forward to that with two Bravo airspace transitions, the mini route and the coastal route. So I'm already a bit familiar with those, but that's going to be a lot more challenging. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, again at around the same time. So that's 1430 Zulu, 1430 Zulu. So that's up next, and a lot of celebration flights that I have planned once I attain all my cat ratings, achieved all my cat ratings here on the PilotEdge network, so then I'm a virtual PPL pilot, and then the fun really starts, starting with season 2, my I ratings, my IFR ratings.
So in between, Kimo helped us out, and he said BR is missed.
Yeah,
and
Mrs.
FG
Fogg.
is Fog.
Thank you, Kimo, for
and it stands
helping.
for, what did they say? Broom.
Oh, right. That's a good one. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, Kimo, thanks for helping with the link as well. As always, much appreciated. Scandinavian, thank you for your presence as well. And thank you for your questions too. And again, it was a short flight and I'm instructing and doing all this stuff at the same time. So I hope you understand why I was a little bit distracted here. But I very much appreciate your presence here on the stream. Sniper, good to see you as well. Exterminator, good to see you. Colby, thanks for being here. Steeler, also thank you guys for being here. I very much appreciate being here, supporting and also encouraging Mireia. And also we received some donations
yeah,
to get
it's
that
amazing.
instruction
Thank
flight
you
going.
so much.
We're already trying to think of a date where we can do that,
Yeah,
right?
it's happening in the upcoming weeks. I think if there's good weather.
Yeah, that's
here,
always the main concern.
Yeah.
Where we can good
we
weather.
should move to California.
Yeah, California
Much
choose the
better
better weather. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
But
again,
we
guys,
will do it.
thanks so much again for being here and supporting us. It really means a lot to us.
Yes, thanks.
Happy Sunday, and hopefully I will see many of you tomorrow when I'm going to embark on the mighty Cat 10 rating. Guys, happy flights, blue skies. See you very, very soon.
Bye.
Palm Springs Tower, Skylane, Hotel Tango, Mike is 10 miles north of the airport at 3000. With information X-ray for a full stop, landing 13 left if that's available.
Papa Hotel Tango, India Link, Palm Springs Tower, Squawk 6250.
6250.
Papa Hotel Tango, India Link, Palm Springs altimeter is 2985, radar contact, about 10 miles west of the Palm Springs VOR. Presently landing runway 31, you're requesting straight in for 13.
If that's available, yes, please.
Ever correction, Papa Hotel Tango, India Link, make straight in runway 13 left and clear to land. 5.
Clear to land, runway 3 left, buckle tilting your mic, thanks.
Palm Springs clearance, Pilatus 4658 is type PC12 slam clock, request clearance to Vegas S5.
Pilatus 4658, Palm Springs clearance. Good afternoon. Unable to give you S-file, I'll be forward stepping. Pilatus 4658 is cleared to the Las Vegas airport. VFI Cathedral 1 departure procedure to Palm Springs. Victor 370 to 29 Palms. Victor 538. Cresso. Join the Cresso 3 arrival. Maintain 7,000. Expect flight level 2405 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.7. Squawk 6316.
Dallas 4658 is cleared to Vegas via Cathedral 1, Palm Springs, Victor 37029, Palms, Victor 538, Cresso 3. Initially climb 7,000, expect to cruiser after 5, departure 167, squawk 6316, plus 465.
Pause 4658, readback is correct. Tango to mic, taxi to RAM via echo remaining this frequency.
Taxiing to the ramp via echo, remaining on this frequency, buckle tilting your mic.
Ontario Tower, Cessna 237 Charlie Alpha, approximately 4 miles to the west, inbound to land.
Number 237, Charlie Alpha, roger, inner left, traffic. Left downwind, runway 26, left, report base.
And left downwind 26 left, I'll call you base 237 Charlie Alpha.
Charlie Tower, United 242, on the visual for 20 right, will be turning for a right base shortly.
United 242, Jolway Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land, wind 170, level 3.
Clear to land, 20 right, United 242.
Onboard tower, Kilo, Kilo, ILS,
Near 520 Yankee Kilo, Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land, wind 210 at 1. Number 237, Charlie Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land.
26 left, clear to land, 7 Charlie Alpha, thank you.
Palm Springs ground plus 4658 east ramp with weather going for taxi.
Pilatus 4658, Palm Springs ground, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo and Bravo.
Trail right via Echo Bravo 465.
Riverside Tower, good morning, November 2903 Alpha with you on the island.
Number 2903 Alpha, Riverside